today for the Real In interview, I have a very talented team with me who are all involved with the film Ek Jagah Aisi. So, firstly, thank you all. Thank you, Maheen, Rinchin, Priyanka, and Madhu. Thank you for taking the time out to speak to us today.
Yes,
We thank
we are very happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for taking the time. Now, this is yeah, I'll try and first. I think the first thing is if you could just go through and give us a little bit about yourselves, and just tell us like what you did on the film and how you were involved with it. So, Maheen, if I can start with yourself, please.
Sure. So, I did the cinematography of this film, and I was also involved in the script writing along with Rinchin and the two main protagonists, Muskan and Avni, Manisha. And but my major roles were to do the cinematography and the script. Yeah.
Okay, Priyanka, yourself.
Yeah, so I was on the on location recording, and mainly I'm from sound only, and I was involved in song composition also, and with 7 8 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So as a sound person only, yeah.
Okay.
But I jump around the uh, departments a little bit also.
Okay. Rinchin, yourself.
So I was a part of the script writing and also the directorial team. And like Priyanka said, jumping around little bit production when things don't happen. So like overall, um, some bits of production, but large part like working with the actors, casting, script writing, and the directorial team working. That's my main.
And Madhu, last but not least.
तो मैं आर्ट आर्ट डिपार्टमेंट से थी और मैं भी जंप करते करते सब कामों में मदद भी करती
So सबका एक रोल नहीं था, सब थोड़ा थोड़ा सब कुछ करते थे.
नहीं, एक रोल था पर एक रोल के
एक मेन
अलावा
रोल था.
बाकी
हाँ,
सब भी करते थे.
बिल्कुल. मतलब पूरी टीम एफर्ट थी.
मतलब जैसे मेन रोल में जब गलती होती थी तो किसको पकड़ के पीटना है, that was very clear amongst us.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for letting us know. Now going straight on to the film. Firstly, congratulations. It's a really affecting film. Tell us a little bit about how the film was conceived. Was there a specific incident that led you to want to make this film?
Rinchin?
Came together, like the idea of the film came because of some of the conversations that Muskan, Maheen and me were having. Also others of our team, just about representation and especially Avni and Muskan, there was a conversation and it came out of the fact that how there are no stories that are from I mean, not no stories, but there are very few stories, at least in the Indian context, that come out of a queer and trans lens, and how there's a need for us to tell stories. And since we are already a group that makes films, and a lot of people from different, a mix of identities, and so we should be telling a story like that. And so it got conceived as a small, like we thought we'd make small vignettes, but when we all got together to start writing it, it became a long, it became a feature. We couldn't contain our lives in like the lives that inhabited the film into a 20-minute thing, and so it became what it was.
Sure. No, there were a lot of kind of topics, I suppose, that were covered in the film. I'll come to that a little bit later. But once the idea of the film had come up, how did you actually go about making the film? Because with, I suppose, if you look at films on the transgender community, there's probably the ones that I'm aware of anyway. There's probably a handful, if that. Um, so how easy was it to raise funds for the topic, and how much of a challenge was it to actually get the film made?
Uh, so when we, like Rinchin was saying, when we started off, we sort of, we were just trying to, contain it and, make something small scale. And but as we sort of started getting into the script and into the story, and also the conversations with the protagonists and their lives, slowly the scape of the film, it sort of increased, and it became, and uh, independent cinema funding is always a big question. It's always a big challenge. Um, and we knew that it would not be easy, because we were also coming out of the second lockdown after the
Sure.
pandemic. And while we had made films with just crowdfunded resources before, that was not seeming likely now. So what happened then was that we decided to have a more hybrid model. But with most of our films, it works like this, that we could either, we had two choices. We could either, wait for the resources to come in and then start to make the film, or we could start making the film and then hope that the resources would come in.
Mhm.
But like you may have already noticed, we are a very keen bunch of risk takers. So we just jumped into the process. And I think then, sort of like people get interested, people get involved. And as we started speaking about the project to different people, we were able to get some like very small fellowships. We were able to get support for the people who were working in the film, the people from the community, and for some of the people who were also participating in the film for the first time. And as we proceeded, I mean, we sort of kind of managed the fund situation, because each time we would come to a point where, we can't go ahead now, then we would think of how we can, make this happen. So that's how it unfolded for us. But resources, by and large, for independent cinema in India are a big challenge, not just for us, but for, I think, everyone who's making films.
Okay. Now, you touched upon the fact that you're a very keen bunch. Now, and this is what I want to sort of speak about. So you've mentioned prior to the call that the film is actually, it's not directed by one person. It's directed by the Ektara Collective. Firstly, tell us a little bit about the Ektara Collective. I take it all of you on the call, you're all part of the collective?
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the Ektara Collective, and how did you come to kind of get involved with it?
Priyanka?
Yeah, so when I started working with Ektara Collective, I didn't know about anything about the sound and all. I I was just told by a friend who is also a part of Ektara Collective, Sushil. So he asked me that would you be interested in doing sound for the film? But at that time, I was very hesitant, and I was very under. I did, because I didn't know what is sound and what not.
Sure.
But then I said that yeah, I want to try and explore this thing also, because I had the thing of music in my life also. I used to sing and learn music.
Mhm.
So I thought that maybe sound would be a good thing to learn about also. So that is how I started uh, working with Ektara. At that time हमारा एक workshop हुआ था जिसके लिए एक साउंड रिकॉर्डिस्ट ही आए थे जिन्होंने हमारा पूरा 3 दिन का वर्कशॉप लिया और हमें थोड़ा सा ट्रेन किया और वो थोड़े टाइम तक वो रहे हमारे साथ में, और फिर उसके बाद में मुझे लगा अरे ये तो बहुत अच्छी चीज है, मुझे तो बहुत मजा आ रहा है ये करने में। तो
कुछ और करना है मुझे।
हाँ, मुझे और करना है, तो मैं उस हिसाब से मतलब आई थी। लेकिन जैसे ही मैं एकतारा के साथ में केवल साउंड ही नहीं था, साउंड तो सिर्फ एक चीज थी जिससे मैं जुड़ी थी,
जी।
बट देन आफ्टर joining Ektara, I came to know lot about life, many lives, not only just one life, because इतने सारे लोग और इतनी सारी डाइवर्सिटी मुझे दिखी कि इतने सारे मिक्स ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल थे उसमें। हर एज के भी है, अलग अलग एज के हैं, अलग अलग बैकग्राउंड से आ रहे हैं, अलग अलग उनकी रियलिटीज है, उनकी अपनी एक लाइफ स्टोरीज है। तो उनके साथ में कनेक्ट करना, और जब मैं वहां पर रही और चीजों को देखा कि हाँ इस तरह से काम होता है, तो वो तो फर्स्ट ही मेरी लर्निंग ही वहीं से शुरू हुई है, मतलब फिल्म्स के बारे में भी कहो या फिर साउंड के बारे में।
हाँ,
तो वो मेरा बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस रहा। तो उसके बाद में मैंने फिर साउंड के लिए मैंने अप्लाई किया, और फिर प्रोफेशनल ट्रेनिंग ली मैंने साउंड पे। तो इस तरह से मैं अभी अभी तक मैं एकतारा में हूँ, और मुझे अ, अभी मुझे एकदम लगता है ये कि एक हम मेरा ही एक घर है, घर जैसा है, क्योंकि सब लोग इतने जेल्ड लगते हैं आपस में कि भाई और बहुत लड़ाई झगड़ा भी होता है, बट देन काम भी बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है, ऐसा मुझे लगता है।
Actually, that was my next question. ये मेरे अगली सवाल था कि having the collective making the film, how did it work creatively? Um, आपने तो कहा ही है कि लड़ाई झगड़ा होते थे। How कितने लड़ाई होते थे? And was it, was it easy? Were there a lot of disagreements, or was it, was the vision, was everybody's vision the same, that you're all working towards, a very set um, sort of outcome?
Is this for me or everyone?
Anybody, whoever's most suited.
हाँ, मधु बोलना चाहिए।
मधु बोलिए।
हाँ, तो लड़ाई तो हमारी जब हम लोग सब लोग इकट्ठे होना शुरू हो जाते तो छोटा छोटा शुरू हो जाता है कि उसने ये नहीं किया, इसने ये नहीं किया, उसने वो नहीं किया। पर हम लोगों के काम नहीं रुकते हैं, लड़ाई चलती रहती है, ऑन सेट पे भी एक दूसरे से गुस्सा होते रहते हैं, पर काम में उस गुस्से को, उस नाराजगी को नहीं आने देते हैं। लेकिन बहुत मजेदार होता है वो सब। शूट के बाद फिर अच्छे से हो जाता है, फिर निकल के पूरा एक पेकअप हुआ, फिर उसके बाद रास्ते में चलते चलते करते तो और मजा आता है।
हाँ बिल्कुल।
पर
नहीं, मेरा ये
उतना
यकीन है
मन
कि
में किसी के लिए वैसा
नहीं, सॉरी बोलिए।
नहीं ना बोल।
नहीं, मैं बस यही कहने वाला था कि मेरा यही यकीन है कि झगड़ा उसी टॉपिक पे होती है जिसके बारे में सब काफी पैशनेट होते हैं। अगर वो प्यार नहीं होता, वो पैशन नहीं होता, तो झगड़े भी नहीं होते।
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's good that
So,
you argue.
yeah.
Sorry, Maheen, go ahead.
Rinchin, yeah, I was just asking if Rinchin wants to give like sort of like an overview of what exactly like. Yeah.
But I was thinking लड़ाई झगड़ा तो मतलब होता है, and that's what everyone thinks. I mean, मैं यही बोलना है कि everyone thinks that somehow working as a collective will come in the way of creative process. I mean,
Sure.
that's the kind of that's the question we always get. But I don't know. I can speak for myself, and I know for others also that for us, at least for us, I feel that it adds to the creative process, and so bits and parts of us can together make a whole, and it is not like finally, so it only enriches, like as Priyanka said, that there is like so much diverse thought and there is so much there. So even in the fight and the fact that each diverse each thought might also, we correct each other, we add to each other, and there is, in the end, there is a common vision. That's why we are all together. So that common vision is then enriched by everyone's thing. So for example, if there is like, each, when I make a film about things like that are only connected to my life, but if I'm looking at something else, and I can be corrected, because then there is always someone who will say that, who will bring in an authentic, idea or an authentic representation of that thing. So that's why, like, when the film seems, all the films that, like, one of the things we always get, it's so organic, or it seems very, so that it's not something that we have to like really work hard to do. The locations and different people's experiences actually add to that. And we also, in life, also all the people of the collective work and live very close to each other. So there is a common vision. And before we go into shoot, there is enough discussion and there is enough like this thing that everyone believes in what is being made and is committed to that. For example, like this film also, like you were saying that, the trans experience, but not everyone had that. But once Abni Muskan became a part of the group, and the whole team then, everyone didn't have to be queer, but the whole team then decided to put their weight behind it and said that, yes, we'll all come together to make this film. And that is that's the power of the collective, then things get done. So whatever people see as like, sometimes people see it as a negative, for us, that's strength. That's the strength of
Staying with yourself, Rinchin, because you, I think it's you wrote the film as well, alongside with Maheen, is that right?
Alongside with Maheen, and also in collaboration with Abni and Muskan, who are the two main protagonists.
Sure. The film itself, it kind of shows a slice of life, in a way, of the transgender community and what they go through sort of on a day-to-day basis, it felt like. Because although the main sort of theme was about them finding a home of their own, there were a lot of other small incidents that happened. And with the film, it's really easy to feel for Roshni and Leila in the film. Is it the whole screenplay based on like various real life incidents, or was any of it kind of thought up? Was any of it fictional?
I think it's a mix of like, no fiction is fully fiction, and no, it's not like that. So, but it is not that, say, the two characters or anyone would have had every experience would have been faced by them in their life or anything. It's a like how stories are written. So some of it, like through discussion, something may have happened to me, but it applies to everyone, or something may have happened to them, but could. So it's like, it's a mix of both, and it's a fictionalized, it's a story. So not like, so Leila's character or Roshni's character is not exactly as the people who played it, but yeah, it is very close to the lives, and even if they have not lived someone else may have. And so various incidents. So, but it there can be a bit of like the camaraderie that they share with this group is also very close to the camaraderie that many of us may share with each other. And how, like, one of the themes of the film is also the friendships that you have when your birth families are not the only points of reference, or they're not there for you. People make nurturing relationships outside, and that's very especially for queer people, that's, for many, it's a reality. So then all that comes, and the support and nurturing, that friendship is a big, like, it's a big theme in the film. And in all that, it's the friendships that sustain. So all those, I think all those ideas become the film. It's not so thought out, but yeah, the scenes are staged. There are scenes written, but then even after writing them, sometimes it would happen that I would write them and share it with, say, Abhi or Muskan or whatever, and then someone from the team would say that, this happened to me, or this has something very close to that happened to me. So it's not very far from reality, but it is fiction, and some of it is really like real life incidents also that are happening.
Okay. Now, the film generally it seems to be shot in real locations rather than on sets. So really, this is a question more for Maheen and for Priyanka. What challenges did you have like with the cinematography and the sound recording being outdoors, being in like real locations?
Yeah. Priyanka, I'll go first. Okay. So I think one of the main challenges that we do face while we are doing these, most of our films are shot on location primarily because I think they lend to the fabric of the script itself and where it is playing out, rather than trying to get someone to construct spaces like that. Because I also think that many people who belong to these kind of backgrounds or who have are not really um, equipped to do this kind of like construct this kind of a location. And for us, it's also important to have that, because then it gives a real feel and texture of a space, of an area, of the kind of public that is there in that area to the audience. And so for us, it is always important to do that. Now, in terms of the shoot itself, because I think both the sound and the camera, we have to have some amount of equipment in order to, these spaces don't often offer us facility to be able to always have all of those things in place.
Sure.
But what they do offer is lots of people who come to help, because I think that the spaces that we choose are also spaces that are familiar to us. Like in fact, the house that Leila and Roshni were staying in till they found another place is Madhu's house. So yeah, she stays there, and so all the neighbors and everyone is there with us while we're doing this. So for us, it always works as an advantage, because like if we need to get some light, if we need to get some but the spaces are very small, like it's a really tiny and cramped space. So that way, to get that space, to shoot that space, to completely explore what it has to offer, that sort of becomes a challenge. But then that is what we've been also trained for, and that is what our perspectives and gazes comprise of. So then we're able to do that in a sort of, so the approach is a little bit different from how you would mount a mainstream film.
Sure.
Like it doesn't always follow the kind of pattern or the lensing or the aesthetic values that would comprise, like it's more homegrown, it's more indigenous, it comes out from within that space. And so to even look at that as a visual that is interesting, and mostly I think people find what that space has to offer. Usually it is, because we are so used to becoming subjects of documentaries, I mean these kind of things becoming subjects of documentaries, then that it's sort of like no one works on the aesthetic of storytelling within that genre. I mean, like within the genre that walks both the spaces. So
Sure.
But if I don't know, if we had better resources, maybe we would have brought out something very different from what we did. But I think every limitation for us becomes another challenge that we like to engage with.
Yeah.
And but one thing that I have to say is that we've always got support from the entire public that is there, even though, I mean, at their own inconvenience, often people have come to help us. And I think that is the best part of shooting on location. Yeah.
I think that
Priyanka,
the one thing
sound.
that I kind of thought when I saw the film, you can't tell that there may have been limitations or there may have been issues, because it's shot, and like when you listen to the film as well, it seems so seamless that it almost seems as though you've got the permissions and you've blocked the roads off and you've hired the entire place, that sort of thing. That's why I had to ask that question.
No. What
Yes,
does
Anita?
because there were a lot of issues with the with getting permission,
Yeah.
like uh, So we would not get any permission so that we could shoot properly, so that मतलब हमें कोई रोकने वाला ना हो वहाँ पे. But then somehow Maheen managed to go there and shot some pics, and I went with my handy recorder and took some recordings also. But then जो proper होना चाहिए वो तो नहीं हुआ है sound में, but then still we managed to pull it out.
लेकिन with
But
the sound particularly,
yeah,
जब आप लाइव लोकेशन में शूट करते हैं तो काफी बैकग्राउंड नॉइज तो होगा ही. सो
वो
हाउ
हम
डिड यू,
yeah,
ये कैसे मैनेज किया आपने?
वो मुझे लगता है कि जो लोकेशंस लेते हैं और वहाँ पे जो लोग होते हैं वो इतना सपोर्टिव होते हैं.
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
Priyanka can't hear you. Many times this would happen on shoot also. Like technology, everyone thinks that technology is like there to help us. No, when it has to perform, it will do some drama.
बिल्कुल.
Okay, I think Priyanka is coming back on.
Yeah,
I think
logged in.
Priyanka also, I mean, like the challenge is also because, I mean, for both of us, because we are in the technical, this thing is that we are also having first time actors perform. So there is no option. I mean, for Priyanka, she has to do sync sound because, you know, like dubbing
Of
often
course.
doesn't bring out the same sort of emotion, because there is also like a dynamic that happens while the scene is going on, and so sync sound becomes a very, very challenging thing, and I don't know how they manage. She'll be able to tell us more, but that and
That's
yeah.
okay.
Hi, मैं यही बोल रही थी
Hi.
कि वो sync sound करना पड़ता है because of everyone being, a lot of people being first time actors, and that sort of become the challenge also too.
Yeah. तो मुझे जहाँ तक समझ आया क्वेश्चन यही था कि लाइव लोकेशन में कैसे साउंड को मैनेज कर रहे थे. तो
बिल्कुल.
मैं यही बात कहना चाह रही थी, जैसा महीन ने कहा कि जो भी हम लोग लोकेशन चूज करते थे वहां पे ऑलरेडी इतना सपोर्ट रहता है और रहा है कि हम जब भी शॉट शुरू होता था उन्हें पता होता था कि अच्छा यहाँ है, तो वो उस हिसाब से मतलब बता दिया जाता था. अगर साइलेंस बोला है बोलते हैं तो वो सही में
सर
साइलेंस
साइलेंट हो जाते थे.
सीरियसली. जो सिनेमाज है वहां पे ऐसे देखा नहीं है, वहां पे अलग बाउंसर्स बुलाने पड़ते हैं साइलेंस कराने के लिए. बट देन यहाँ पे तो काफी बहुत सपोर्ट मिला है साउंड के मामले में. और हाँ, जैसे वही थोड़ा रिसोर्सेस का है तो फिर ये सारी चीजें मायने नहीं रखती. जब आपको इतना सपोर्ट जब मिल रहा होता है तो आप कुछ भी यूज कर रहे होते हो, आप ठीक से निकाल ही लेते हो चीज ऐसी.
बिल्कुल. Now, next I want to move on to the music. जैसे मैंने कहा था कि the cinematography sound recording काफी seamless थी, वैसे भी music भी really fit into the film. And I think the choice of music I thought was very soothing in a way. So I think Madhu, आप तो music में involved थी. So ये question I think आपके लिए is going to be the best. So आप थोड़ा म्यूजिक के बारे में बताइए.
तो गाना मतलब पहली बार ही लिख रहे थे फिल्म के लिए, कभी ऐसा सोचा नहीं था, और मतलब ऐसे ही कविता धीरे धीरे बन के आ रही थी. पर वो एक हमको, मुझे भी म्यूजिक के बारे में से कुछ खास पता नहीं था. तो फिर हम लोगों का ये प्रियंका
Very
दीदी ने,
modest.
फिर हम सब लोगों ने तय मतलब गाने के लिए फिर हम लोगों ने लिखना शुरू किया. तो पहली बार में तो नहीं बना, फिर वो जो ट्यून थी उसके लिए फिर प्रियंका दीदी और एक और हैं वो जिन्होंने ट्यून का वो दिया था हम लोगों को, टेम्पो। फिर उनसे टेम्पो लेने के बाद फिर भी हमारा गाना ऐसे कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ था। फिर कविता लिखी, मतलब जो हमारी फिल्म है या फिर पिकनिक का है जो मूड है फिल्म का और गाने जो सीन का, उस हिसाब से फिर हम लोगों ने सोचते अलग अलग, प्रियंका दीदी, मैं, लता दीदी, बाली और रिंचिन दीदी, हमें से सब लोगों ने मिलके, दीपक भाई, ऐसे छोटा छोटा अपना वो एक एक उसमें म्यूजिक के लिए वो कविता या शब्द सुझाए एक दूसरे को, और फिर उसको फिर किया हम लोगों ने तो। और ऐसे ही बना फिर वो, और फिर काफी बाद में करते करते फिर एकदम बढ़िया बन गया वो। फिर हमको ही मजा आने लगा कि वो इतना अच्छा बन गया, और
सो
सीखने को काफी मिला।
अगर आपको चूज करना पड़े कि आप आर्ट डायरेक्शन में या म्यूजिक में या डायरेक्टोरियल टीम में कौन सा चुनना पड़ेगा, कौन सा चुनेंगे आप? काफी मुश्किल सवाल है, मुझे बताएं।
मतलब आर्ट को ही,
सॉरी,
आर्ट
फिर
को
से।
पसंद करूंगी क्योंकि उसमें आर्ट को
हाँ
चुनूंगी
हाँ।
मैं, क्योंकि उसमें सब कुछ आ जाता है। आर्ट का काम भी, फिर पूरा कहानी का पूरा कैरेक्टर आर्ट, कॉस्ट्यूम और डायरेक्टोरियल का भी वो हिस्सा हो ही जाता है, और म्यूजिक
जी,
भी आ जाता है।
बढ़िया बढ़िया। um Now, going back to the screenplay a little bit, for again for Maheen and for Rinchin, there's a lot of issues raised in the film. There's the difficulty in finding houses, which is, I suppose, the main. Um, the general perception that society have towards transgender people, how they're treated by society. Um, and what I mean by that is there's the scene in the restaurant where they go in and they say, we wouldn't have been allowed in if you weren't with us. Um, Hiding their actual identity to be able to get work, family acceptance, loads of different sort of issues. Was it hard to get these into a coherent screenplay for the film?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think, like you're saying, no, the script is the most, in fact, the way it flows is the most seamless thing, because it's like I said, every character brings in their own reality. And so it just fit, of course, fitting it in together. And like when you make the script, then, but I think one leads to the other. And sometimes we had started with like, so, and then suddenly something will, like it doesn't seem complete, and then something else might and then and something else might come in. So that way, the only, like when you're writing the script, the only thing is that, is it balanced, does it feel complete till you feel that, yeah, like now it's like the whole, a complete story is being told. But other than, like, I don't know, the bringing of the issues is never, because you never treat them as issues. Like when
No.
we're all writing, it's not like we have to bring in an issue of identity. I think they come out of each other. And
यार क्या हो रहा है?
so, and again, like I said, it's also close to lives and through discussions with Avni and Muskan, and also the others. So it like, I think yeah, it's not so much about fitting issues, but it's about telling a story, and then everything comes in. So that, to that extent, that's the easier part. Of course, I mean, it takes whatever, like, while we're writing it also, then there is tension, there is like pushing each other, should, how much do you go where or whatever. So those kind of things we have. But like I said, that because you don't see them as issues, you see them as like, there are parts of lives that, and things that have happened. So that doesn't seem so difficult.
Yeah, and I
And
think that
the nice thing about film is, sorry,
go ahead, go ahead.
the nice thing about film is that, like, you can keep it, it can keep getting made. So you have a script and then we work on it, but then later there are some things that you can add through sound or songs. Everything adds another layer, and so you can keep telling. And like for us, like at least in our films, sometimes we also like after one edit is done, we still feel that okay, there is like something missing, and anyway you go to do some patch shoot, but sometimes a whole new scene might come up, and
Sure.
then it feels that okay, there's something missing, and then it just like maybe this is a scene that is needed, and then that makes the film seem complete. We discuss it and we say that like something, and then so for this film also a couple of pivotal scenes came later, like after the first edit, and again as organically, like just for the to balance the whole thing. So that way it was easy. And for the songs, of course, Madhu spoke about the one song that the Taihare, the picnic song that was actually created by, it's a mix of Gondi, Chhattisgarhi, Hindi, all the languages that many people speak, the characters of the film also. So that was how she said, and that's how it got made. Like it's a mixed and a khichdi song, and it was supposed to be a joyous song. The other two songs, of course, Begumpura and Zehale Miski. One is by Sant Ravidas, and the other is Ami Khusro, and they just fit with the film. And
they really did.
And also really what we believed in, and what that song, and Begumpura actually became the theme of the film. There are two versions of it, sung very beautifully by Sheetal Sakhe and also by Devnarayan Saroya and Gita Parag. The Taihare song was sung by Priyanka, Madhu, and Sashi. So that is.
Sorry,
and
Maheen, you're going
sang the Zehale Miski song.
Yeah, I was just going to add to what Rinchin was saying about the scripting. Like there are these many experiences, there are these many incidents, there are these many things that happen. But how do you really weave them into like something that is coherent? Because even life is not chronological like that. I mean, things keep happening like in parallel, and in. So I think that is where the craft of storytelling comes in. So it's grown from all of these things, but then Rinchin would sit and how much are you supposed to reveal now, and where are you supposed to hold back, and where will you push that into place. So I think that also because we don't have much writing like this of this kind, sort of in maybe more in literature but very less in cinema, that I think is also something that the collective is able to contribute to have this sort of process for writing, but also to be very aware that this is also a craft. Just as acting is, even though people who would be acting would be playing characters which are very close to their lives, or the characters themselves that they're playing themselves, but still there is acting that is required. Still you have to perform it. Still you have to. So in that sense, it's not. I mean, it requires a level of discipline in the craft, in the skill. And that sort of is what makes the film look, feel, sound the way it does. And so yes, filmmaking is not rocket science. We have many people who are trained and untrained who work with us, but there is a discipline in the work, and that I think is something that we try to set our own standards to a certain limit, and then and each time we finish we exceed that, and up the level. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add, because somehow people feel that making films in a collective is you do it one day, you don't feel like going the other day. It's okay.
It's not that straightforward.
But yeah, so the challenge that we put on ourselves is not just to make a film, but also to make a good film.
Yeah.
And with whatever limitations we have in front of us. Yeah.
And I think you've succeeded with that. And that's something I'm going to come back to in a minute. I just wanted to talk quickly about the ending of the film. Now, I found it quite bittersweet in a way, because Roshni and Leila finally get a house that they can call home. but it's next to the gutter. Is that something that, was that a deliberate, did you want to show that things are maybe starting to improve, but there's still a very long way to go?
Yeah, actually, that the placement of the house that is in the film, the house that is Avni's real house,
Okay.
which he found after a long search, and some of the incidents in the film maybe happened to her in that, like, a neighbor troubling her or something happened in that house. But so we, from the beginning, I think that end somehow, like, when the first time we had all met, and you hear the sound, and it can be like in the film also she says, if you hear it from inside, of course it can be anything, it could be a river, but I mean you can smell it. And but for her it was a safe place, and she finally found it, and so it meant a big deal. And I think that's true for many people, like, so that's the reality. And then from there, like, still and there's a continuity also in this film, because there's Roshni and Bella both, and one is like not one is saying, okay, let's fight from here. None of them are saying that this is where our life will be, but it is like, okay, but there is this space, and then move ahead from there. So I think that was it is a bittersweet end, but it's also like that's the way with life. There are no clear right now in this situation. There are no clear victories, but it's not. But that struggle continues. So I mean, we all thought about it, and that's how that end came, because there's also a respite, like one space of respite, and then.
Sure. It was nice that there was at least a partial happy ending, even though there was a little bit, but because you see so much of the film and you see them suffering so much, and you just think they better get a house at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Now, going back to what you were saying about making a good film, you've clearly made a very good film. It's toured many festivals. So आप लोग बताओ कहाँ घूम के आए हैं आप लोग? Very recently, it was screened at BFI Flare in London. So tell us a bit about the experience there. How was the reception, and the other screenings that you've had? Where else have you been? I believe you were in, was it Rotterdam as well recently?
No, in Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, sorry.
So the film opened at the Tokyo International Film Festival. It had its world premiere there. And soon after, it had its Indian premiere at the International Film Festival of Kerala, which is for us one of our biggest festivals. And where it also won 2 awards, and the actors also won an award. So, and then after that, it's been sort of, yes, traveling to a lot of places, and it went to Sydney, where it showed at the Mardi Gras, Queer Screens Mardi Gras, and then it opened in North America at South by Southwest, where again it won an Audience Choice Award, which we are very, very excited about. And then it came to BFI Flare, where it opened in the UK. And the Flare screenings, they were very special, because I think that there were many people from the community who, because we were there for the other screenings as well, there were many people from the community who had come to see the film there. And that, I think, was very encouraging, because sometimes you just feel that it's in a foreign land, and whether the issues that the film is trying to bring out, will they resonate, will they connect, what sort of but I think that in every screening the film has evoked, it has had a take back for every person who's there in the room. So that means it's been able to offer something to everyone who's present there in the room. And I think that is what is very special for us. And we like to be in the screenings just because of that, because, sometimes someone is talking about the music in the same room, then someone is also noticing how caste has played a role in the film. And at the same time, people are looking at how the acting has been throughout the film. So I think that this mix of like many things that the film is able to offer, that and that the audience is able to take that back, that is what has made the film for us. We feel confident when we take it to an audience.
Sure.
And I think the audience has also responded. So, and especially in BFI, because there was so much of community, and there was so much of South Asian community also. And so I think that we were able to have more engaging conversations because the context was far more familiar to a lot of people. Yeah. Culturally also, socially also.
So it sounds as though the only continent you haven't been to yet is Africa. So any plans to go there?
And China.
You've done, but you've done a lot of the world already. So do you go to the festivals, or all of these festivals as well? And as a collective, is this one of the things जिसके बारे में झगड़ा होता है कि कौन जाएगा?
झगड़ा होता है कि मुझे नहीं जाना, like कोई और चला जाए.
No, but no, I think we hope that everyone will get to travel with the film, and it's an opportunity to take your work. And but being strapped for resources, like South by Southwest does not offer support travel or things. So that was a festival that it was very far, and that was a place that and even getting visas, etc., was difficult. So no one traveled to South by Southwest, but Muskan also traveled to Amsterdam, where the film also received the He Was Free to Be Me award, which is an award in the Rose Film Dagen Festival, which is an award given to a film that raises LGBT issues in a country that is, that was very nice. And I think for even many of our team members to travel to Kerala, to travel to Amsterdam is like so, and we hope that there will be opportunities for people to go to more and more places, because I think the love that the film gets, and also the opportunity to meet so many people, it opens up. Just sometimes it opens up your mind to so many things. So we hope that people will travel. Not being able to travel to everywhere, like Sydney, no one could go neither to. It was showing in Boston yesterday in the Wicked Queer Festival, which is one of the largest queer festivals in Boston. And hope that the reception was good. So we hear of it, and then sometimes actually people scroll. What happens is that people are scrolling on Google or something, and then you get an article or you get a podcast that is about your film. Like we found a podcast yesterday by this actor called Susie Wong, who's a trans actor in Sydney. And she done a whole podcast about Ek Jagah Apni, which we found yesterday. And it was like maybe there for 2 weeks. But the way she'd spoken about the film, about the acting, and it meant a lot to have like a podcast by her. So, and then we share it with each other. And then, so like, it's almost like, you find little seashells or something like, and then every day one little jewel comes up, and then everyone enjoys it. So I hope everyone gets to travel.
That's great. So
we're running out. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, it's the only place you haven't been yet. We're running out of time. So last question. What's next for Ek Jagah Apni, and what's next for the Ektara Collective?
Madhu, would you like to answer that question?
Where is Madhu?
Madhu?
Okay, she's not there.
Okay. So
अभी थोड़ी देर पहले उसी के बारे में बात हो रहा था हमारा कि अभी what is next. अभी इसके पहले जो मीटिंग था तो उसी बारे में था. Sorry, Maheen.
Yeah. Like the team that was with us in Ek Jagah Apni, and some people had a first time experience of making cinema. Some people, they have put together a new film called Man Ka Thela, which is in post production just now. and it's a short film, and it's based on a story that has been written by Madhu. And
Okay.
yeah, that's going to find its way out soon. And
अरे यार आप लोग तो सब काफी मल्टी टैलेंटेड I feel insecure आपसे बात करके
yeah, but we are lacking an engineer, Bhaskar.
whenever you need me हाजिर हूँ
Thank you. And yeah, we are working on the script of our next feature, and yeah, and we hope to go into the production of that soon too. So two things in the pipeline, and we hope to have some. I mean, we hope to have a new film to show you all very, very soon.
Definitely, we look forward to watching that. And what about Egg Jaga Apni? Is that any more sort of festivals that it's going to, or any more plans for that? Or and in terms of a a sort of commercial release as well, is any plans for that?
We hope to, and we hope that it will find a wider audience than after the festivals also, and hopefully the appreciation that it is getting in festivals should create, like, at least it should create an opportunity for it. So we would hope, at least in Bhopal, they're also doing the other formalities, and we hope that we will at least be able to show it in some theaters, maybe OTT platforms that pick it up. And I mean, if anyone's listening, we would like it to go wherever it can, that if there are distributors who take it in other countries also and show it more widely. Yeah. We are hoping and working towards, and that's the reason also for focusing on festivals and trying to send it everywhere, so that it is there is more, people, I mean, we will also, like, people feel the need of taking, and I think it's a film that actually needs to be, it needs to go out, and it is a film that because even in Amsterdam, in the Rose Film Dragon, it was largely it was not a very multicultural audience, but this film, in the Audience Choice Award, it was the runner-up, and it surprised us also. And so in that sense, it is touching people, and we hope that we will find distributors, and if a commercial or an OTT release should happen for this film. Otherwise, we, like with all our films, we do a lot of community screenings, we take it, and people, so we do try to find our own audience and create it, and that of course will always be there. But if there is a wider audience also that's available for this film, we'll be more than happy.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to a full release, be it in cinemas, be it on maybe Netflix, you never know. So we'll look forward to seeing it, and look forward to the next projects that are upcoming. And the only thing I will request is that you all come back next time as well, so we can have another chat about your next project too.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you
you so
It's
much.
lovely speaking to you. Maheen, Rinchin, Priyanka, and Madhu, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.